Hello and welcome. My name is Tiffany Grove with My Wellness Grove, and we're going to do a short meditation. Find a nice, comfortable seated position wherever you are. Think about grounding your six bones down into the mat, lifting up onto the tailbone here. Feel the shoulder blades slide down. So taking a few deep breaths in, releasing and letting go. So if you want throughout your practice, you can always close the eyes if you want to, or keep them halfway closed if that feels comfortable. Start to focus on the breath here. Notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness. We're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, begin to release. Taking 10 deep belly breaths here. Expanding the chest, expanding the rib cage, and expanding the belly. Breathing here, releasing here, and letting go. So I want you to start to notice if you're holding on to anything in the mind. Maybe it's an event that happened. Maybe it's a person, a place, or a thing. And whatever it may be, without too much judgment or thought about what's going on, we're just going to stay with the breath. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release, let it go. Softening the body. Start to think about this person or what starts to pop up in the mind. And then let them go with the breath. If you want, you can take your right hand to the heart, left hand to the belly. Just noticing how your chest begins to expand. Noticing. So come back to the breath. Feel the heartbeat. And then we can start to bring those hands down by the side, palms face up, just as your willingness to receive. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back. Breathe here into this space. Release here into this space and let it go. So again, notice if something starts to pop up in the mind when the body stops. Noticing, releasing, and letting go. So we're going to do a 4-7-8 part breath. You're going to take 4 deep breaths in through the nose, hold it for a count of 7, and then exhale for a count of 8. This is a good thing you can come to any time that you feel anxiety, anytime you need to be grounded back to the present moment. So feeling yourself nice and grounded here, we're going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to do that a few more times with our own breath. Take a nice deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more times. Hold in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Inhale in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just come back to your normal breathing. Notice the body. Notice the breath. Notice the mind. So staying with the breath, if you want to continue that 4, 7, 8 breath, you can, or you can just take nice deep inhalations and exhalations. And from here, we're just going to start to notice the body. Notice if you're starting to hold on to any tension, any tightness in the body. Notice if you carry any pain in the body. And then notice if you're carrying anything in the mind. So scanning the body from the top of the head down the toes. Think about the crown of your head here. Notice if you're holding on to anything in that mind of yours. And if you are, that is okay. Just take a few deep breaths in, releasing and letting go with each breath. And exhale, release, just let it go. Staying with the breath here, noticing the mind. Start to notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness between the eyebrows and the third eye here. Breathe into that space. Release into that space and let it go. Notice your breath. Notice the mind. And then notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness in the face and the jaw muscles. Again, breathing here, releasing here, and letting it go. Come back to the breath. Clear the mind. Oh, notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness in the throat. Sometimes our throat is closed off. So just noticing, releasing, and letting go. Deepen the breath. Feel those shoulder blades slide down the back. So notice if you're holding on to anything in the shoulders. Sometimes we carry a lot in the shoulders, like we're carrying the weight of the world upon us. If you are, just feel those shoulder blades slide down the back. Use your breath to release it, to let it go. Breathe into the chest. Noticing if you're enclosing your heart, if you hold any tension, any tightness here. Breathe here. Release here and let it go. Notice if you're holding on to anything in the shoulders, down the shoulder blades, and release them down the back. Breathing into the back, clearing the mind. And then notice if you're holding on to anything in the belly. Sometimes this comes out as gut issues. We hold a lot there, so noticing, releasing, and letting go. Breathe. Notice if you're holding on to anything in the hips or the lower back. Grounding yourself in your chair here, lifting up. Breathing, releasing, and letting go. So breathing into those thighs, breathing into the top of the hips, notice, release, let it go. And then start to notice if you're holding on to anything in the kneecaps. Breathe. Clearing the mind, releasing the body. And then traveling past down the knees to the shins. Notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness here. Breathe here. Release here and let it go. Use the breath to move through the body. And then notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness in the ankles or the feet. Breathe into this space. Release into this space and let it go. So if you want to start to come back to that 4, 7, 8 part breath, you can do that. Or we're just going to take nice deep inhalations and exhalations. Releasing the body, releasing the mind, and just being in the present moment. Take a nice deep breath in for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to go 2 more times with your own breath. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one. Inhale in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice your breath. Return back to your normal breathing here. And then notice what starts to pop up. Sometimes we have habits. We have patterns and stories. So noticing if those start to pop up. And without too much judgment, without too much thought, I want you just to start noticing your thoughts. Almost as if you're watching a picture screen in front of you and you have no real attachment to what's going on. You're just noticing, observing, and being a witness here to your own reality. So for the next few deep breaths, I want you to notice what starts to play on that picture screen in your mind. What keeps you up at night? Or what brings you tremendous joy? Because you're either going to one or the other. Wherever you're going, we're going to take a nice deep breath in. Again, start to detach yourself from the stories in your mind. Notice them for what they are. And then come back to the breath. Ground yourself here. If you want, you can feel the earth underneath you, grounding your feet, grounding your pelvic bone into the chair. Feel your shoulder blades slide down the back. And just release and let go here. Notice and release with each breath. So again, if you want to come back to that 4, 7, 8 breath, you can, or you can just take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, release, let it go. Breathe into this space. Release. If you want to take your left hand to the heart, right hand to the belly, you can, or you can keep them exactly where they are. Start to feel your heartbeat. Feel your lungs expand. And then just start to release and let go here. Using the breath to move the body. Releasing and letting go. If you want to keep the hands where they are, you can, or bring them by the side. Scan the body. Notice Are you still holding on to that tension and tightness somewhere in your body? Maybe it's in the shoulders, maybe it's in the heart or the back. Wherever it may be, we're just going to take a few deep belly breaths to that place. Releasing and letting go. And then also understanding how pain, how tightness can manifest itself in different areas of our body. So just noticing that, being aware of that. So notice where you're holding on to, if you're holding on. Notice if it's the shoulders. So the shoulders, a lot of the times we feel like the weight of the world is placed upon us, and we feel it in the shoulders. Almost like you're carrying a backpack with stuff of the past. Stuff that no longer serves you. Could you imagine you walking around with a backpack with all your life stuff in it? How that would make your shoulders roll forward, how that would hurt your back. I want you to start to picture if that's where you're holding on to the tense tightness. It's okay to take the backpack off. You won't lose anything that's important or that's yours. And it's okay to open up the backpack and to take things out that no longer serve you. So if it's that time in your journey, you can start to take that backpack off. Feel the relief from it all. And then you could start to take out the things you like, keeping them in a pile, and then take out the things that no longer serve you. Be grateful for having them, but also know it's time to let it go. Breathing here into this space. Release into this space. So I want you to notice if you're holding on to anything in the throat. So a lot of the times what happens is we don't get to speak our truth. We don't feel heard, or we feel misunderstood. And our throat literally starts to constrict and almost close off here. Sometimes we can feel pain, tightness. Just notice. Notice if that's where you're holding on to anything. And you can smile a little bit knowing that you can change this at any point in time. You can speak your truth. You can be heard. People might not like it, but that's not our problem. Be true to yourself. Take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And then noticing if you're holding on to anything in the chest, in the heart. This can also come through the shoulders and the back. But noticing if you start to roll forward, if you start to enclose the heart. A lot of the times what happens is through relationships with ourselves and with others. We close ourselves off here, thinking we're protecting ourselves. So just release here, let it go. Feel those shoulder blades open and roll down the back. And breathe into that heart center for a moment. Breathe into that space. And then start to notice if you're holding on to anything in the shoulder blades. Anger comes through the shoulder blades. but so do financial issues, so does stress. So notice if you're holding on to stress and you're not releasing it in a proper way. Breathe here. You can release it now and let it go. And then notice if you're holding on to anything in the belly. The belly can be associated with abandonment issues. You can start to have gut health. We can start to feel lost and overwhelmed. So notice if the belly starts acting up, or if you start to have any tension or tightness here. Breathe here into this space. Release and let it go. And then notice if you're holding on to anything in the hips. The hips are connected to our root chakra. Family, relationships, things that pop up as our children. As we're trying to heal, things will start to feel in the hips. So breathe here, release here, let it go. Scan the body. Notice if you're holding on to any tension, any tightness. Take the next few moments to send the breath there. But more importantly, become aware. Release that no longer serves you. Release, let go, and breathe into this space. Deepening the breath. Release the mind. So we're just going to end out class with 10 deep belly breaths. If you want to take the right hand to the heart, left hand to the belly, you can. If you want to keep the hands where they are, you are more than welcome to do that as well. Whatever feels comfortable here, focus on the breath. Breathing in, letting it go. Notice. Release. And then just breathe into that space that you might be holding on to. Notice the mind. Let that go. Take a deep breath in. Soften here. And when you're ready, we're just going to bring our hands to heart center. Again, my name is Tiffany Grove. I wanted to thank you for being here today. The divine in me sees the divine in you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.